I think it would be cool for my audience to just get a little background on how do you approach those type of situations and pitch to that brand that you can bring value to their situation.
The reason why brands will work with myself or with you is because they need content. It's not even so much about my reach or my influence, because let's face it, working with a brand like Hertz or WeWork, these are billion-dollar corporations that have far greater resources and reach than I do as a person. But when you look at the content that a lot of brands put out, it's much more sales-driven. It's much, it just has a different corporate look and feel to it. Right. So I always advise people, first of all, to keep creating content on your personal channels. Because the content you create isn't necessarily going to be sales focused. It's going to be just you and your environment doing what you do. Lifestyle content, for example, is really hot. So if I like to travel, which I do, I'm going to create videos. I'm going to put those videos on YouTube. And over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I created a travel guide series on my YouTube channel. That's content that now, 4 or 5 years later, I can go to Hertz and say, every time I travel, I'm already making a vlog. The vehicle that you put me in is an accessory in that vlog. The message of what I'm doing out in these communities is as a result of your vehicle getting me to the destination. So again, it's connecting, no different than any other form of sales. It's connecting a need with a solution. And you and what you bring to the table is that solution to a client's need, which is content.
That's awesome. So do you think a person that's just getting started, do you think that's a good idea for them to possibly approach those clients, or is that something they should wait until they kind of put some skin in the game before they move to that level?
That's a really good question. I don't think you necessarily need to have a set number of followers in order for brands to see the value of it. If you have the enthusiasm, the energy, that look, that swagger that the brands are looking for, they're going to recognize that. And this is where you can negotiate with the brand. Hey, I'll create content for you, but put it on your channels. Because let's just be honest, if you put my content on your channels, you're gonna be able to amplify that to a higher degree than if I just put it on my channels with minimal following.
Right.
So I think a lot of folks get tripped out because they think, oh, I have to put in all this work for so many years to build a following, without realizing that you don't need the following. You can go straight to the brand and you can offer to create content. Now, the reality is that if you're new in the game, some brands might not offer you cash up front. They might offer you an experience. They might offer you trade. It might be, if it's an airline, hey, we're gonna put you up in a couple first class tickets and you're gonna create content. There's value in those tickets.
Absolutely.
Right? And I know when I look at my content, I did a lot of free stuff. A lot of content on trade early in my career because I had to do that before brands would write a check.
Right. And that's why I think it's very good that you mentioned doing it for free, because then it kind of becomes a numbers game. Like, you probably just need to reach out to more brands to create an opportunity for yourself. So that's good stuff. Cool.
It's fine.
Okay. So do you feel those situations that you do, like those collaborations, do you think those are good setup pieces for like the next situation?
It's not so much about the next situation, because a relationship with a brand could turn into a retained client that you can be working with as an ambassador for years to come.
Right.
So I never go into this thing, first of all, I don't aspire to do one-offs. I do very little one-off activations with brands at this point. I used to. So again, like when I started in this game, I would do things for free, I would do things for trade, I would do one-offs. I'd say in the last couple of years, I've turned down far more opportunities than anything I've taken on.
Is that because it didn't align with your brand?
It doesn't align with the brand. It's not a brand that I necessarily believe in. I'll give you an example. There's a car manufacturer that wanted to give me a new car every week to pimp out. It's not the car that I drive. It's not the make that I drive. And if I start selling out just for a free car that I really can't get behind, then quite frankly, my audience is gonna see that because they're gonna be like, dude, like, you're front. Like, I know that you drive an Audi, you don't drive a Ford. You know what I mean? So I think that, first of all, if you want to work with brands, it would be true to yourself and true to the brand. Yeah, and the easiest way to get brands to do deals with you is if you're already a customer of them. So I'm very consistent with the brands that I use, the brands that I wear their clothing. if they never gave me anything for free, if they never cut me a check, I'm gonna still be their customer. So it's a different conversation when you go to a brand and you say like, I'm already doing business with you. I'm already shouting you out on social media.
I already have an office that we work.
Now let's take this to another level. And let's see how we can mutually benefit one another. And then the question always comes in, well, what do you foresee as mutual benefit? Well, I look at everything like a partnership. This is what I can bring to the table. What can you bring to the table? And it's a very different conversation than getting paid as an influencer. Like, I'm not a fan of influencer marketing. I don't consider anything I do to have anything related to influencer marketing. I'm a businessman at the end of the day. And when I work with any brand, it's a partnership.
And you mean from a standpoint of the framework of how influencer marketing works. Not necessarily the fact that you influence people based on what you endorse.
I think the framework of influencer marketing is cheesy, quite frankly. I think you have a lot of brands out there that they're trying to get this like very quick hit on social media. They'll pay an influencer and they'll just get like this quick engagement boost. That's not scalable, man. And that's not a good strategy. And quite frankly, I as a brand and a businessman don't want to necessarily be associated with like, I'm promoting you today, but I'm never going to speak about you again.
So do you use it in your social media? I know you run an agency. If a brand came to you and said, hey, we have our eye on this individual, you think they're a good influencer for our brand, would you push them away from that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the conversation at that point we're having is, are they a good ambassador for your brand?
Right.
Is this a person that you would feel comfortable putting in front of your CEO? And that's when the conversation shifts from, yeah, maybe not. Right. There's a lot of people out there that are really talented, that have a lot of reach. But if you're trying to buy reach and you're going to drop, let's say, 50K on an influencer, I would recommend just drop 50K in Facebook ads if you're trying to increase your reach, right? You see how that works and like how the business mindset of strategy comes in.
Right, but they might argue about that person being in direct communication with the exact audience that they're trying to
I'll give you an example. I just had someone text me yesterday saying, hey, let your clients know that you can get Jake and Logan Paul $40K to promote your whatever brand at Coachella. Right. A couple of Instagram stories. All right, cool, that's great. So I cut them a check. What am I getting? A shout out? I would much rather advise a client to spend $40K in Facebook ads. You're gonna reach more people. You're gonna control the message. You're gonna control the creative. Think about that. What I like about these conversations is it's basically restructuring the deal. So again, let's take your 50K one Instagram post influencer. I actually throw this out to influencers. What if you made 5K a month from a brand? Right? It's 60K a year.
Right.
And instead of you doing a one-off 50K activation, now you have guaranteed 5K coming in from this one client. Right? And all you gotta do is just endorse them once or twice a month organically.
So you want to change that one hit or that one conversation or activation into a partnership scenario where we're developing a relationship and you're really endorsing our product or service or whatever.
And I will change.
Makes perfect sense.
I will change. The book that I'm writing, like, I go savage in there, man. And I know from working in corporate marketing, a lot of this stuff does not work. So there's value in what a creator influencer brings to the table, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's not, because there is. And these men and women have worked very hard to create the following that they have, but that following means very little to the customers of that brand if they're not on the same page.
It needs to be an ongoing conversation
in order for it to work.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I know we don't have much time, but let's just talk about the book real quick. What do you think will be the takeaway inside the book that everybody will remember?
It's humanizing your brand and humanizing your products and services. That's it. It's how do you replace your logo that people know and love or hate with a face? When I think of your brand, yes, I know the R in your hat, but I think of you. And that's where Coca-Cola and Walmart and Nike and XYZ brand will have to start going if they want to remain relevant.
And then you don't think Nike, the rest of them, I agree. But I would argue maybe slightly that Nike does it a little bit in terms of identifying with the athletes.
Right now, in almost 2020, I would argue that Fila and Champion are hotter than Nike as brands. My son, who's 13, isn't asking me for a Nike sweatshirt. He wants a Champion sweatshirt. Champion existed when you and I were kids, and now it's made a comeback. Why? Because people are making Champion relevant again. People are making Fila relevant again. You walk in any Foot Locker or Foot Action, sneakers from the 1990s are making a comeback because people on Instagram are making them relevant. And that's the premise of the book. It's no longer about the logos, it's no longer about the brand name, it's about the people. Personal brand. All right, my man. Appreciate it. Thank you.